Welcome to another conversation with Chris. Today it is my great pleasure to have Tania Jones join me. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've known Tania for many a year. We're not going to declare how many years, but quite a long time. So it is my pleasure to have you with me, Tania. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So specifically today, we wanted to capture your experience of completing the Accelerate Your Self-Leadership program. So let's start with, how would you describe yourself before you decided, yep, I've got to do this now? What did your world look like?
So my world at that time was really, I was staring at quite a mountain of stress up ahead because my daughter needed to change schools. I was about to sell my home for the second time and I had to sell it again. I was obliged to. It wasn't something I was really choosing to for the fun of it. So I just wasn't looking forward to that in any way. And I was about to leave being self-employed to go to full-time work, which I hadn't done for 10 years.
So two very significant transitions just alone.
Absolutely. And so I just thought, I think I have to do myself a favor and do this work with Chris because I need it. And I don't really know how it's going to help smooth things out, but I'm going to take anything I can get. And any other work I've ever done with Chris has been massively helpful.
I love that blind hope thing with that tinge of, I don't know if it's going to do anything. I love that.
Well, there was a state I was in. I was like, I just need things that will help me. And Chris has always been great in the past. Let's just do it.
So I'm really pleased that I can still, well, let's see. Did I surprise you? Did this program surprise you in any way?
Yes, it did. It shouldn't, because our work together has always been rewarding and had sometimes surprising, but always good outcomes and results. It did surprise me in that I fully was expecting to feel overwhelmed because that's a lot for anyone to have. I thought I'd be lying on the floor with heart palpitations because I traditionally have got those every time I've moved. My thoughts were feeling overwhelmed about the thought of all that packing still ahead of me. And I did not feel overwhelmed in the end. It really went as well as it could possibly have gone. And in fact, you could say excellently, because I didn't feel overwhelmed at any point. Even the packing day when the packers arrived and they said to me, not everything's going to fit in the truck. We'll have to come back tomorrow. And I was thinking, what? And I started to feel a bit of stress. And then I went, oh, well, just has to happen.
I find this fascinating a little bit because you were in these positions where the overwhelm was kicking in, and then you say, yeah, sure, let's do Accelerate, which is another thing to add to your plate. So it could have actually added to the overwhelm because Accelerate requires you to show up every day, because essentially I ask you to show up for you every day. When you're in that position of feeling that everything is just beckoning for your attention, what was that like?
I actually just didn't even have the headspace to think too much about that. In fact, you told me what my homework was going to be, and I went, I really don't know what I'm going to be like at journaling every day, but I'm going to be chuffed to get an affirmation because they feel great. And I did struggle a bit in the beginning being consistent with doing the journaling, and then we tried doing it at a different time of day, and that was excellent to have the movement and the freedom within the program to just try it a different way. And even though I do have a massively busy schedule and booking in the catch-up calls, well, as we know, it's always divine timing, but I felt like I was going to be a bit late some days, and I was, but I never missed a one in all those 12 weeks, despite moving house, despite a new job. It just worked.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both know that energy does that. You know, we could say that the universe conspires to make it be really effective for us. You know, I find it very convenient how that works. Were there any other highlights that you wanted to mention that you achieved through this?
I think that one surprise was that the daily affirmations were often so related to things I'd been thinking about the day before or that week. That did surprise me because we don't speak before you send that affirmation through. You do it quite independently of me. It was actually perfect because it was just as I started my day. So it was actually like a little gift to start the day with. I really looked forward to it. And it also gave me a chance to pause to connect where that related in my life. But the surprise too was the journaling wasn't as hard as I thought. I really liked the second version we tried, which was to reflect back on the day and find my favorite part of the day. It's such a pleasurable thing to be doing, is to relive the best part of your day. And granted, there were several times when there wasn't the nicest part of a day to find, and that's just life, but it is very nice to go back over or to hunt for that favorite part of the day and go, oh yes, it was when that excellent thing happened. And yeah, that did feel really good. And then you relive that good feeling. And I think that's very helpful to be doing that on a consistent basis.
About 3 or 4 weeks in, you went, I mightn't be journaling in the morning. You were going through it mentally in your head. So
Totally.
you'd set a pattern for almost both versions of morning and evening.
Totally. I'm still doing that. I wake up and I think, right, what's my intention for today? What's the most important thing? Or how would I like to feel for today?
If we can set those daily patterns into our everyday, from my perspective, it's the ultimate achievement of being successful, because we can tune into the way that we wanted to show up for the day, and then also go, oh, actually, I achieved that. And so then that can bleed into the next day and the next day and the next day. And it just has this compounding interest effect. What is it you would say to someone that was looking at doing the Accelerate program?
I really think that if you have some stress in your life and you're looking for something to help you with that, or you feel like you're just not sailing along in your life in the way you'd like to, I cannot recommend this more highly. I really didn't know exactly what this program could do for me. And now that I've been through it, I am so glad I had Accelerate to get me through and out the other side without a collapse. I'm not a person who would have a collapse, but I did feel like it was a highly intense period for me to go through with really big life changes all at once. And I have to say, I put it down to Accelerate that I came out the other side sane, smiling, and actually really kicking goals in my new job. Yeah, still got a few boxes to unpack, but whatever.
After 20 years, I still have boxes to unpack.
It's really interesting. And if you think that it might be a bit much, if your life feels busy and you think, oh, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make the time or find the time, it's really not hard. It's just a little nibble of your time, and it's well worth it. Thank you for curating such an awesome program, really.
Thank you for sharing your experience of Accelerate. It was such a pleasure to have those interactions with you over that period of time. So thank you, Tania, for joining us on this Conversations with Chris, and I will look forward to sharing more conversations with you all soon.